More signs we're headed back for another financial crisis. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, buckle up, strap in. I got a hard-hitting pull no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows, no sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. We got a good one to unpackage today. Buckle up, strap in, hold on to your hats and glasses as we blow the lid off the U.S. economy and the U.S. housing market. Why, you ask? Because they're tied together. If we lose one, my friends, we will lose the other. It's happened before. It will happen again. It's no longer if. It is purely when. Cycles always had them, booms and busts, right? We know that. If you're new, please subscribe right away. Never been a more important time in history to get centered and surrounded with like-minded people. Listen, friends, I was just talking to my buddy Travis at the Real Estate Mindset, and we were talking about this. You know, unless you've lived through this situation before, you're probably a lot less prepared than somebody that's lived this before. I've talked with many of you. I've talked with many of people. I'm a salesman. I talk with people every day. And unless you've lived through this before, you really don't understand the magnitude of the waters we're swimming in. You've probably heard of recessions. You maybe have watched videos like this. You may have seen some headlines, but you're ignoring that all because you don't have the life experience that's needed to navigate through this one. And that's why we continue to see the industry itself cheerlead these markets, even people that have lived through these times before, like the great financial crisis, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, have seen this movie before, but because of their conditioning, because of the industry, because they have financial gain, they're cheerleading this one. They have to. It's out of self-preservation, more than likely. Or just whatever, greed, denial, take your pick, throw the dart at the economic challenge map or the personal challenge map or whatever map you want to throw something at. We'll be hitting something. But today, what I really wanted to concentrate on, and I've said this before, and this article was courtesy of one of you, a subscriber that sent this one in. I've said this before, there's only one time in history where renting makes more sense than buying. And that's in a real estate bubble, in a bubble environment. And so, that's another thing. Another byproduct of this real estate bubble is, I mean, you see the cheerleaders out there cheerleading. And listen, I'm all about helping people make smart moves in real estate. We're looking at properties right now. If they pencil out, we'll test it with an offer. That's my level of willingness and commitment to my buyers. Not how much are they ready to buy and are they willing to overpay? And if not, I don't want to talk to them. That's what we had out of the industry. And that's why I had to come here and start raising awareness, ringing the bell, sounding the alarm, reading between the lines, and looking between the cracks for you guys. Insane. So when you see situations where I don't know how anybody in their right mind could tell you there's no crash risk here, this time is different. It always comes down to supply and demand. Well, like Mike Tyson says, everybody's got a plan until you punch them in the face. And then that plan changes. And we're about to get punched in the face with another economic blow. It's just the reality. And you know, like I've always said, throw the dart at the economic challenge map and we're hitting somebody. So hitting something that's threatening us at the moment. Take your pick. Bailouts occurring, emergency Fed meetings, the U.S. savings rate at an all-time, never-seen historic low. People are running on fumes after the biggest money dump ever witnessed in world history. Credit card debt at an all-time high. These are warning signs. But when I see an industry professional tell me, they want to tell me this time is different, it's supply and demand. Well, it is until it isn't, my friends. But how can you, when people now have buyer's remorse, it's still a good time to buy even though people have buyer's remorse. It's still a good time to buy even though the U.S. savings rate is an all-time low. It's still a good time to buy even though credit card usage is at an all-time high. Take your pick. So anybody cheerleading me in this one, I have to politely disagree. My job is to put my clients on the sidelines and earn their business later and make sure that I'm in better shape than my clients in terms of got my head on straight and financially fit enough that I can take the sale or walk away from the sale. I don't need to pressure these people into buying if they're not ready to buy, if they want to sit this one out, if they want to watch from the sidelines. So we've got a lot of warning signs. And like I said before, the only time in history where it makes more sense to rent than to buy is and we're in a real estate bubble. But here's the challenge with this one. Not only is that the case right now today, in many parts of America, you're better off renting than owning because we're now in a real estate crash. Prices have reversed course. Yet people, like I said, unless you've got the life experience, street smarts over book smarts, you don't care what the news and the talking heads are saying, you're going to go out and buy. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. It's trained salesman, the psychology of people, psychology of sales. Once you make up your mind to buy, you're buying. The sky could be falling. And that's what we're seeing right now. People still out there buying. Now, if you're, like I said, if you're new, please subscribe. The one thing we will always look at with properties moving forward, cost to carry at today's interest rate with a standard amount down, is it below the property's rent range, even if it's not a rental? The biggest safety guard you can pull for yourself. Agents aren't trained to say that because I just squashed their buyer's pool in half. So they're not telling you that. This is the only agent telling you that. But I saw an article courtesy of one of you that really was just another alarm bell sounding. So let's go ahead and jump over, courtesy of our friends over at Yahoo Business, and take a look at this article. Then we'll meet back here to wrap it up. Let's get started. The premium Americans are paying for mortgage versus rent hasn't been this big since the housing bubble peaked 17 years ago. The monthly payment for a newly purchased home at the end of 2022 was $1,176 more than apartment rent. That premium is the widest it's been since 2006, near the peak of the housing bubble. Expensive real estate prices and high interest rates are driving the gap between mortgages and rent. The difference between monthly mortgage payments and rents hasn't been this big since 2006, around the peak of the housing bubble that led to the great financial crisis. All right, friends, welcome back. So there you go. What should we do with this one, friends? What should we do with this article? It's basically telling us another financial crisis is what? Knocking at the door. It's knocking at the door. It's here. So what should we do? Should we put the blinders on and ignore more warning signs? Like, it's so crazy now. The cat is out of the bag. A recession is being ushered in. Everything that we need to pull from is there. Yet I still see people trying to explain this one away and tell you, don't worry. No risk out here. It's rainbows and sunshine. Lollipops and puppy dogs plow into these markets. I'll tell you what, they drank the Kool-Aid themselves. They're underneath a staggering amounts of debt. I can't tell you how many agents I see leaving the business now, sugarcoating it too. Yeah, I was thinking I might get back into acting. Okay. I have already shared reports. In Vegas, how many agents are becoming dealers, blackjack table dealers at the casino? What's going on out here? Tell me how this time was any different. If it was different at all, it was worse. In final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator. Somebody wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life. Understanding the biggest artificially created housing bubble ever produced in world history couldn't sustain itself. The blowback is now taking place in spectacular fashion. What do we do moving forward? What should we do? Don't let our highs get too high or lows get too low. Try to stay somewhere in the middle. It's better to be prepared for something and have it not happen than have something happen and not be prepared. You'll be able to operate within this much more efficiently. My job is to hopefully condition you to look at properties, cost to own, standard amounts down at today's interest rate. What would it rent for? If those numbers line up properly, maybe we test it with an offer and start stacking up real estate outside the bubble, utilizing the tool that investors use, even if it's your primary home. I don't care what it is. Be willing to sacrifice now, ride off in the sunset later, willing to live in a shoebox temporarily if that's what it takes. If you can't do those things, there's not much I can do or anybody can do for you. So my advice is to go earn your wealth. Do it simply by surrounding yourself with like-minded people. I promise it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this one out, but it's going to take somebody to help navigate you through that. And it'll be my job to do that every step of the way, because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Social media link in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on I think you might enjoy. If you need help buying or selling real estate here in America, the biggest network of top-rated agents in the nation ready to assist you, it'd be our honor and our privilege to do so. Email in the description for you as well. Also, if you're watching from your television set today and you enjoyed this video, I know you're going to love the next video. And there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count today. I'll see you on the next video.